certainly rise to support this very needed legislation. Let me make a point here that there is a very important part of this legislation which sets up the Budget Commission. And I would just like to make an appeal to that commission to not only get to us a good budget by December 15th, but take some time to see how we can get some mechanisms in place to prevent us from ever again shutting down the federal government. We take a solemn oath here to defend the federal government, to support the federal government, to uphold the federal government, and we must honor that. Maybe we can do mandatory arbitration in this place, but we've got some smart people in this place. We hurt too many people when we shut down the federal government. And let us, hopefully, we can put that Mitch McConnell rule in place. God bless that senator from Kentucky and the courage that he had to step forward in a bipartisan way so that we could put that mechanism in place so that we will never again put our good faith and credit at risk in this country. And finally, let us Democrats and Republicans work together beginning tonight and pass this bill.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlelady reserves. The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Poe.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for leading. I quote, "The fact that we are here today to debate raising America's debt limit is a sign of leadership failure. It's a sign the U.S. government cannot pay its own bills. It's a sign that we depend on financial assistance from foreign countries to finance our government's reckless fiscal policies. Money that we have borrowed from Social Security Trust Fund, borrowed from China, borrowed from Japan, borrowed from the American taxpayers. The rising debt is a hidden domestic enemy, robbing our cities and states of critical investments in infrastructure like bridges, ports, and levees, robbing our families and our children of critical investments in education and health care reform, robbing our seniors of retirement and health security they have counted on. Every dollar we pay in interest is a dollar that is not going to investment in America's priorities. Increasing America's debt weakens us domestically and internationally. Washington is shifting the burden of bad choices onto the backs of our children and our grandchildren. Americans deserve better. Driving up our national debt is irresponsible. It's unpatriotic." The words of Senator Barack Obama in 2006 and in 2008. Madam Speaker, what was irresponsible and unpatriotic is all of a sudden responsible conduct? I think not. We should be talking about cutting spending before we start raising America's debt ceiling. And that's just the way it is. I yield back.
The gentleman from Kentucky reserves. The gentlewoman from New York is recognized.
I am delighted, Madam Speaker, to yield 1 minute to the distinguished leader from California, Madam Pelosi.
The gentlelady from California is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the gentlelady for yielding and for her great leadership as our ranking member on the Appropriations Committee, and for bringing us together this evening, as we have been all along, 200 House Democratic members, 200 strong, in support of the Republican number that we are voting on today. Tonight, the unnecessary shutdown America has been enduring for 16 days comes to an end. Thank you, Speaker Boehner, for finally allowing a majority of House members to reopen government and avoid a default that would have clearly wreaked havoc on our economic credibility and the stability of our country. It is equally clear that the shutdown has already shaken some pillars of our economic security and growth. It has jeopardized our credit rating, slowed our GDP growth by 0.6%. It has eroded consumer and investor confidence in our economy while taking $24 billion out of our economy. My colleagues, do you think that your recklessness was worth $24 billion to our economy? This recklessness is a luxury the American people cannot afford. Tomorrow, we can finally begin what Democrats have been waiting for 7 months to do, Tomorrow, we can go to the negotiating table to debate a budget to create jobs, 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 that four-letter word, expand the economy, strengthen the middle class, and reduce the deficit in a meaningful way. Tomorrow, we must stop governing from manufactured crisis to manufactured crisis and start working to find solutions so that we never again see a day when the government has been shut down and the full faith and credit of the United States of America has been called into question. For that reason, I urge a yes vote on this bill, not on its merits, because as we know, this number is too low. Even the chairman of the committee has said it's an unrealistic and ill-conceived number and must be brought to an end. This number, if left in effect, would cost us hundreds of thousands of jobs in the months ahead, in the next year. Hundreds of thousands of jobs. Again, a number that is a luxury this country cannot afford. So if the Republican number is key to reopening the doors of government and restoring confidence in our economy, Democrats are willing to accept this resolution tonight. But as I say, not because of its merits. Not because of its merits. We do so because a vote yes on this bill will take us, hopefully, not on its merits, but in the hope that it will start us down a path to grow the economy, promote the prosperity of every American who is willing to work hard, play by the rules, and to achieve the American dream. And so with those qualifications as to what we are voting for tonight, the number doesn't meet the needs of the American people. The length of time that the debt ceiling is extended is not long enough. But apparently that's the best we can do, and I commend Senator Reid for working a bipartisan way to send us this bill tonight so that we can bring this sadness to an end and how it has affected so many people. So again, not on its merits. I do not come here to pin a rose on this legislation. It does not have that respect, but it does have my support as a means to an end. And with that, I urge a yes vote, and you're back the balance of my time.